Okay, let's start streaming. Almost in the final throes of my project. Had a bit of a panic there, but now I've got the Yeti microphone out because it's starting to get real. Wanted to play some music and have the microphone pick it up. Unfortunately, it's also going to pick up the air conditioning and this cooler unit on my computer. You'll hear it growling in the background, but let's go full screen and see what I got going on in the project now that it has music. Got off the beat a little bit there in the music. I hear the strings this time, but not how I'd like. Okay, we got the music looping and playing through town. Now there's something weird going on where I'm getting some pops and clicks, which are entirely from the computer processor, whatever you want to call it, overheating. I have listened to that tune more times than anybody else will, and there's no problems with it. When I mixed it, when I listened to it individually, or when I played the game before I started the stream. So it's the streaming that's messing with that. I want to take a few final creative liberties. I only have 2 hours, 15 minutes left. I need an hour to test and build. I want to play the I want to play different music. I just want to see what this sounds like. Kind of town music. Fade it. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm gonna leave her out, but do that for every entrance. Fade out the current background music. Play the new background music. While you're at home, a little bit of relaxing music. The other apartment is up here, even though all the apartments are not meant to be relaxing. It's too late. Okay, and we also need to do the inverse, that when you exit the apartment, you'll fade out this background music, and you'll play the new background music of the main game track. Okay, that's exiting all the apartments. And when the game ends and a game over, this is the auto run event, right? Let's work. Let's work here. Fade out BGM, whatever BGM is playing, which it should be the main game, and I want the opening track keys to play over the ending sequence. And likewise, let's go back to the apartments. And you know what? Undo that. I'm gonna save myself a lot of time. I'm just gonna go no. Undo everything I just did. Has to be done within the common event so that I can save myself some time and some headache. We have these common events when you win the game, whatever background music is playing, fade it out and play the opening track for the keys. And same thing whenever you lose the game, fade out whatever music you're listening to, I don't care what it is, and play the opening track keys. Okay. Let's test all the apartments really quick by moving the landlords out of the way temporarily. Let's start in the real starting place, which was in front of this street. And make sure this all transitions correctly. I think the pops and clicks in the music is really interesting. There's no pops and clicks in the sound effects. Yep, I heard another one. There were no... Okay, now we're home. We go back out to town. Took a little longer than I would have liked. It could be a processing thing with the computer getting hot. Players are probably going to think all that stuff in the apartment does stuff, and would have liked for it to. I can tell I got off the beat right there. Okay, there's the music working. Let's put the landlords back where they were. Up to you. We're just going to test game over. A couple scenarios. I'm going to give this 9 minutes. 9 more minutes of creativity. Let's test winning the game. To do that, we are going to initialize the month at month 12. And we're going to pretend like we went to work. So we'll basically be able to walk into that middle apartment, go to bed, and watch the transition to the win scenario. That was a little sloppy. It was really sloppy. I just happened to hit it nicely on a beat there. Tell you what, because I have 7 minutes, changing my mind again. Would that even be noticeable? Like a 30-second fade out. They say 10 for a reason, we'll give it 15. That was too nasty. Can't live with that. And if the win scenario works, in theory, the lose scenario should work also, even though I know better than that. Yeah, those pops and clicks, that does not, it's also pretty random. All right. It's kosher. I'm done. I only got 5 minutes. And just too pompous to. Shit. Gotta give some love to Nash Game Dev. This game and its music were created for the Ludum Dare 44 Game Jam by John Gale of Nash Game Dev. JohnSensei.com, Facebook, Twitter, at Mr. John Sensei. Did I tell you all I wrote those melodies a long time ago? 2 separate occasions. I mean, I can rip off my own music. I never published it or did anything with it. So I can throw it in the game. Okay. F all this. F everything. The heck with it all. It is time. It is time, he said. Time for what? Let me come back here at you. Time for some rigorous testing with a PlayStation controller. It's another thing I love about RPG Maker. Unplug in the mouse. To heck with you, mouse. Plugging in the PlayStation controller via its USB. We'll run the game. If I get over to it, and there I go trying to use my mouse, which I unplugged. That's what I get for cursing at it. Okay, got the PlayStation controller. And there we go, already working. Yeah, that's how I'm controlling it. Get the mouse pointer out of the way. You're effing with my mood. So here we go, for real, testing the game. I will go ahead and go back to full screen for you guys. It's funny because I switched to OBS, but the controller was still controlling the game. It's so much easier to run when I just hit the square button. Triangle does not open the menu because I've disabled the menu. We are in month 1, 500 HP. Let's test both low scenarios. Let's take the low job and the low apartment. Nope. Something I want to do creatively. It's my game. I'll be creative with it if I want to. I don't want no music playing when you go into the workplaces. Can't help it with the construction site. And when you exit, play the music, the main game track, apply, copy paste this revised event. This was seriously something on my mind that I wanted to do before. You can't be playing music in school. Hope the mic sounds okay. The Yeti sounds weird when you do all the noise suppression and everything I'm doing to try to eliminate all this fan noise. Try to reduce all the fan noise. I cannot eliminate it, as I'm sure you can hear. Let's test the game again. We're going to do the low scenario. In both cases, low apartment, low job, and see how long it takes to get a game over. Run to that music. Now fade that music. Yeah, we don't want no music while we work. Ah, fuck it. Alright, there I go again with the swearing. Forgot to turn the debugs off. Could have shipped the game like that. This is why we test. Rigorous testing. It's important. Try to give myself at a game jam an hour for testing and debugging and an hour to build and upload. Hear those pops and clicks? That's not. No music while we work. I should say to start. Should say to start. Alright, this is getting a little komakai, as I'd say in Japanese. Let's go check the construction site. And at the school, she talks about how rigorous the application process is. So that's fine. (6:04), under 2 hours left. Get everything done. I still have not tested a complete run through of the game. The whole purpose of this was to test how long it takes to get a game over with the 2 worst scenarios. The music really does make a difference, and the fact that it will be a slog. That should be a question mark. Or should it? Now this is for a game jam. I'm not even giving myself an hour to do this kind of fine-tooth combing. For my game Hiragana Breaker that actually shipped, I mean, this process essentially never ending, really, with doing updates and everything. Oh wow, he ran straight up to that dude before the map even finished loading. I can't do anything about that. I think it's a performance thing with the streaming and everything. Okay. I could probably do the math on this. You're losing 50 HP a month. Starting in month 2. I started the month with 300. To hell with all this. I started because I had to. I started month 2 with 300 HP because I spent 100 moving into the apartment. That was 400. 50 to get the job, and then 25 to. The point is, this will take about 6 months to hit a game over. Let's test that. And like I said, this is what I'm worried about, because this is all the game is going to be. Like if you stayed on this track, you're literally going to do... there he ran to the end of it again before the map even finished loading. I bet I can do it here. It's going to load, he's right up in his face. I think it's just a performance thing. Music does help with it, but my assumption is that the player would realize they're not going to survive the 12 months and try to change jobs or move apartments, which would cost a lot in the short term. Yeah, I don't even know if I can do this. Months may be too long, but it kind of makes sense in that it's a year. Okay, so when you go to sleep in month 7, so the absolute worst case scenario, slogging that out, would get the player to the end of month 7. $6.12. Okay. Let me come back here. Okay. So the game logic is complete. The music is complete. And with an hour and 45 minutes before the hard cutoff, there's not really a whole lot I can do. Question is, do I want to keep combing like this for 45 minutes and straighten some things out, or do I just want to start building and uploading and making my profile page and all that, which, like I said, could take an hour? And the answer is yes. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start to build. I'll build a little bit here. To heck with you, PlayStation controller. I want my mouse back. Sorry, mouse. Sorry I ever said anything bad about you. Okay. I can't upload and do all that while making the video. I need to be careful of my face getting hidden behind the microphone like that. Okay. Dun 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 dun. I'm gonna do a build. I'm gonna show you how I do a build in RPG Maker. But before that, I need to remind myself how I do a build. I make a separate folder called Builds. I make a separate folder for the project. So this is Sky Blue Builds. And it's empty, as it should be. When I get in here, I'm going to make a folder for each one of these. The first build I'm going to do is a web build. Oh, I hope it doesn't. With all the processing and everything, that doesn't introduce a lot of bugs. And you know what? Forget this. Something else I need to do, and this is very important to teach in RPG Maker. So, the file size of the build is incredibly important. And there's an option when you do a build to not include unused files. The problem is, especially if we look in audio, let's look in background music. You know what, this might not be a problem. The thing I worry about is even though if I tell it not to add stuff to the build, it'll add stuff to the build. I mean, I think I do this type of stuff. What I'm going to clear out all these sound effects, which is tedious. I had to do this for the music. But if the sound effect is listed here in the system thinks it needs it, and it will upload it to the build, even if you don't ever use it in the game. For example, we never use the battle system in this project, so we never need the battle start sound effect, but it would still upload that sound effect. Now the sound effects, you know, let's take a look at them. They're not so bad by themselves, 21K, 12K. But the problem, if you notice here, is that each sound effect has 2 files of the exact same thing. And the reason for that, the .ogg is for most. That's for your Google Chrome, your Firefox. That's for your Android devices. The .m4a is a completely useless file format that is for the Safari, anything Apple related, the Safari web browser and iOS devices. And so what's going to happen under normal circumstances is that the build uploads both of them. Now maybe when you do the Android build or the iOS build, it filters them out. I don't know. The point is, they very much double up on all the sound files, which when you add up all of these, 2 files for every sound effect, it adds up. It starts to really add up. And especially when you get into the background music, you can see, let's just take the battle music, 2.5 megs, 4 megs. You've got 7 megs right there just to cover battle music. If you're trying to keep your project under 100 megabytes, it's impossible. And I'm making a really dangerous move here in that for the original music I made, I'm only doing .ogg. And so what's going to happen, everybody out there, is that the music will not play on an iOS device. I'm not built into iOS, but if somebody tried to play this with their iOS web browser on their iPhone, you would not hear the music. Or if you try to play the game in Safari, you will not hear the music. Which is why Safari is not really recommended, as a web browser for playing games. Firefox, Chrome, pretty much the only 2. Because we know nobody's using the Microsoft Edge. You know, I'll confess something to you. I used to use Internet Explorer for like a long time. Like it took me a sort of unacceptable amount of time to stop using Internet Explorer. Also for Safari, when I got this computer, I was just like, F it. It's the web browser, it's on the computer, that's what I'll use. And Microsoft and Apple are as much tech giants as Google, and much more than Mozilla, who makes Firefox. And it's just kind of unacceptable in a lot of ways. Like I think Safari not playing, for example, the OGG files or whatever, that's unacceptable. You know Apple has the tech prowess to make that happen. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing any of this. I'll leave those. Actually, no, I don't need the buzzer. Okay, so however many of these I'm eliminating. Yeah, I don't need any of this. It's 2 audio files a piece. Let's say they average 20K to make the math easy. So after 5 of them, you've got 100K. Yes, multiplied by 10, you've got a meg. It adds up, it makes a difference. It doesn't sound like a lot when you say that, but it adds up. Okay. Let's just test this. File deployment. We're going to, nope, Android, iOS, it's the same thing. It's the same export, so you would need both the .m4a and the .ogg. Web browser, exclude unused files. Exclude unused files, don't need encryption, web browsers. Okay, let's hope the computer being hot and everything doesn't F with the build. Alright. We succeeded in the build. Let's see what we got. Basically copies everything that was in your project. That's why I like to put it in a separate folder. Oh yeah, only 2 pieces of music, .ogg. Yeah, you know me. Background sound effects, the C. Okay, because that's the only one, but do we see we got, no pun intended, both files, the .m4a, the .egg, .ogg. And look at that, the .ogg is like 100K less than the .m4a. Like, nothing justifies it. Like, I could delete this .m4a, shed over 100K, which is 10% of a meg, off my project. And that may help somebody in Chrome load it a little bit faster. Now you see, I don't need all this shit. Alright, this is interesting. I use the absorb sound effect, the blind sound effect. I use item 3. Look how it did, like, I got it. I know what's up. I know what's up. We're going to do this again. I shouldn't have closed that folder. Starting over. Learning something here. Throw that in the trash. How much time I got? 6:24. This type of stuff's important. Project build optimization. Okay, it thinks it needs that because those are the sound effects used for these skills. That's why it said ice and thunder and fire and all that stuff. Where do I set the sound effect? Not in the system. In the types. All right. We're not using any of these skills. I should take it away. Delete it from my hero. Okay, this guy's scared. Weapons, armors, equipment, skills, elements, using none of this, using none of this. We'll set this all to 0. Under the hypothesis that this will make it quit copying those fire and thunder sound effects that I'm not using in my project. Okay, terms. What else we got? What else can we get rid of? Let me try that. I should have taken a screenshot or something. Web browsers exclude unused files to the same location. Do it. I am glad you succeeded to create a distribution package. Okay. Back to Finder, there's our distribution package. There that is. What do we have in audio? Sound effects. Nope, all that stuff's still there. Here we go again. It's not over. Not over yet. Not over. Alright, now I'm pissed. And I'm nuking everything. Nuking everything out of here. You know what, this might be worth nuking too, because this was probably loading the... We will test that. What type of images did that load? Did that load a... Yep. So what's all this together? Not quite a meg, but still. Out with you. Troops. No troops. We're not doing any battles. No states. This is probably some of it too. But I got rid of blind to the state. I'm still using blind to the side. Ah, look at it. Look at all this. I bet there's all sorts of good stuff we'll eliminate by getting rid of this. All sorts of PNGs for the animations. All sorts of sound effects. Tile sets. Not worried about it. Like, dungeon, inside. I'm actually really scared to F with the tile sets. Because I don't know what I'm using where. So you've been spared, tile sets. Even though I know you're eating up some space. Okay. We're going to do a bit of a test. That entire folder was 49.7 megs. We make it again. And exclude the unused files. And also build quicker. Now again, if you're making a game for Steam or something, could understand. Alright, get info. We're at 49.7. 46.4. Not a whole lot, but we still shed over 3 megabytes. And this is where, if all the thunder and all that stuff, it's gone. Look at that. That's beautiful. It's gone. The ocean, the sea, already did that. The images, we're going to have no enemies. The folder's not even there. Faces, we just got our characters. Actors, we just got John. We're not even using him. I don't know how much that side view eating up. Because I ain't effing around when it comes to optimization. Or maybe I am, because it's 6:30. I only got an hour and a half to do all this. Okay, but the point is, if I do a default RPG Maker build, just with all that crap in it, it's easily over 100 megabytes or more, like 120, 150. So we've got a considerable amount of savings there. And this is the web version. When you get into building the PC and Mac versions, it gets kind of worse. What did I do last Ludum Dare? Built for the web. What's that? That's the Windows version. Where am I saving the web version? Just saving an archive zip file. Okay. Compress 9 items. That archive.zip, that's what I've got to upload. And now let's rename this to web. Okay. Now we're going to do another deployment, and I'm going to do it to both Windows and Mac. Sorry, Linux users. Because I like giving people that option. They can download and play the full screen, full experience. Windows, saving in the same location. You can already see this is taking a little bit longer, but it succeeded. there's all the Windows stuff. I think a lot of Windows users just have to know you have to find the .exe. I call it start game. And just to compare versus the web version, see 206 megabytes on disk for the Windows version. Which again, if you're actually downloading a game, that's fine. What did I do for Hermione Gildo? I made the zip file out here. What does the zip file have in it? Yeah. We're just gonna do it like this. Okay, that took away about 100 megabytes. Now, Mac is really easy. Okay. I think the file size gets bigger, but you don't have all those files and crap strewn everywhere. And the player just has to know to go find the .exe. Taking a little longer to build, too. Okay. So if this is the Mac version. Yeah, 51 megabytes, so more than double the size of the Windows version. And it's basically just these two things. Take a whole minute to compress. So in the meantime, let me come back, talk to you a bit. Okay, so after I finish building this Mac version and compressing it to a zip file, I'm going over to my itch.io profile and I'm uploading those. But what I would like you to do is to visit, if you look directly to the left of this camera, other way, you look over that way, you look over that way where it says Ludum Dare, and then there's a URL link. That is my profile on the Ludum Dare website. And what happens there is you'll have the links to play in your browser, to download for Windows or Mac. And while on that, please leave a comment and any feedback. Again, this is not my proudest RPG Maker project that I've ever made. I've not put in as much time or as much energy into it, as much creative ownership into it as I usually do. Life kind of got in the way, but I have to subject myself to the criticism of the community. Okay, so I can't be doing all this uploaded and everything and streaming at the same time. I don't have the bandwidth. I barely have the bandwidth to even stream, as you can tell from the video quality. It's not that great. So this will be the last video of me producing the game for Ludum Dare 44. What I'm going to do over the week is maybe do a post-mortem, just a wrap up brief summary of what I learned, what mistakes I made, things like that, and then maybe do some, I definitely want to do some streaming of the games we made in Nash Game Dev, the other Nashville game developers made, and leave feedback for those. But this is the last production video. Thank you if you are watching this moment, or if you've watched any of these videos. I wish everyone the best of luck with the rest of Ludum Dare, and let me know if you made a game too. I'd be happy to check it out. Let's get to work. Let's get to playing some games.